Well, we know referees in England, in the English Premier League at least, have been known to be controversial. Some will say the worst in the world, incompetent, biased, useless, corrupt, etc., etc. We've seen last season how wrong they get things and how easily they are defended against by their mates in high positions. We know Howard Webb, the chief of the PGMOL, and he's always coming up with excuses. And there was another reasoning to Declan Rice's red card, which we'll look at shortly. But it's mad where you have referees in England, and it doesn't just happen in England, but it happens all over the world. But for some reason, England always seem to be the pick of the bunch when it comes to referees getting it wrong, or at least very, very controversial with their decisions. You have to ask yourself what is going on with these English referees. Now, first of all, Anthony Taylor has not been given a Premier League match this weekend for his fantastic display in the Bournemouth-Chelsea game where he gave 14 yellow cards, a record for a single game at the Vitality. They launched an investigation following online abuse directed at the official in the aftermath. And can I just say, like, directing this sort of shit to actual officials or players or anything like that after a game is dumb and pointless. Do what I'm doing. Voice your opinion. Say how pissed off you are. Say how annoyed you are. You hate how these referees always seem to get things wrong and always get away with it. And if they do get it wrong, they normally get dropped for a week or two, maybe a month if you're Darren England and the other referees involved in that fiasco with the Liverpool-Tottenham game last season with the VAR call and all that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, they're off for a week or two, and then they come back the week after. So what's the actual point of giving them any sort of punishment? So Anthony Taylor will be off, but he will act as the fourth official this weekend, not off completely, but not be refereeing an actual match. Fourth official when Southampton host Ipswich, and Nottingham Forest travel to Brighton on Sunday. It's crazy. The last time there was a record of yellow cards was 2016, Chelsea and Tottenham. That was a good game, that one. I remember that. He was confronted by angry Roma fans in the Budapest airports after the Italian side lost to Sevilla in the 23 Europa League final. Vehemently condemned the violent behaviour. Yeah, it's mad how you've got referees brandishing cards out for no reason like that. And, well, some will say no reason, but really, 14 instances of yellow card worthy incidents in a single game. It's mad how we've got Anthony Taylor giving away yellow cards for fun. And a lot of people, of course, started putting in their theories and conspiracies of corruption and illegal gambling and stuff like that, because it's very odd to see this many number of yellow cards in a game. And I'd find it interesting if there was any report or any indication of anyone winning big from yellow cards in this particular match. Probably not, because it's all made up fugazi, but still, nonetheless, it does give people something to at least talk about, I suppose. So the other thing, of course, was the Declan Rice sending off the second yellow card. Now, as far as I know of, to my knowledge, VAR cannot get involved with second yellow cards. So unless this was a straight red card offence, maybe that's what the situation would have called for. Truth be told, I haven't looked that far into this, but realistically, a lot of people are saying that the VAR audio is a disgrace. So saith Mark Goldbridge, saying one big mates club again protecting each other, not one voice of common sense when 90% of people watching knew it was soft. But that's just it. It's soft. It doesn't mean it's incorrect. We give penalties because of soft tackles, of soft fouls, but they're still penalties. I'm sure Mr. Goldbridge, he will not be waving the flag of, hang on, that's not a penalty for Manchester United because it's soft. It's soft, but it is still a foul. That's the whole point. And as it says here, as far as we know, the audio stating, I don't like it, but he's knocked the ball. Second yellow for me. I had no choice. He knocks the ball away. As Veltman is about to kick it, he knocks the ball. I have no choice. He's put me in an awful position. Dick, you need to go. I'm afraid. That's what Chris Kavanagh said with the mic'd up VAR call. So if you want to look at some of the tweets here regarding that, what's this here? This was anything other than PGML or PR2, they would have spent 10 minutes showing Howard Webb every single other time someone's done worse. DT, the fact that Howard said we don't know for certain that the ball was moving when everyone can see it's moving tells you all you need to know about them. I mean, look, the ball could have stopped before Veltman took the kick, but still, Declan Rice swung at the ball. That's the whole point. He swung at the ball. If Veltman is able to take that kick and the ball is moving, clearly there's a case to be had that the ball is moving. Then you can have a go at the referee for not calling the ball back for it being moving. But he swung at that ball, unfortunately. It's a shit go, but it is what it is. Terry says, the VAR audio for Declan Rice's second yellow card is a complete disgrace. It's yet another example of the refereeing mates clubs looking out for each other. Sky Sports challenge is frustrating as ever. Once again, feels like clubs being treated unfairly. Some will say Arsenal fans should stop crying. However, Wolves, United, Liverpool, and many others have fallen victim to this and fans shouldn't stay silent. No, but a lot of them told us to suck it up because mistakes happen in football, if you're not mistaken. Just go back to the end of September, October last year and see what was said regarding that. Why wasn't Veltman booked? Fair enough. There's definitely a question in that, perhaps. We can't say the ball was moving. A lot of people still harping on the ball. We've been very clear to the players about not delaying the restart. The referee's chief says Declan Rice was correctly sent off against Brighton, but admits a mistake was made with João Pedro. Okay, so 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, yeah? How about that? How about that? Are these people Arsenal fans? Yeah, all Arsenal fans. I mean, shit, as far as we know, Diogo Jota should not have been sent off against Tottenham Hotspur last year. At least one of those yellow cards was a bullshit yellow card. Curtis Jones, maybe you can say there's a conversation to be had there. Maybe yes, maybe no. We've seen Timber with his challenge. I think it was Pedro Porro was coming in or something like that, and he had his foot on the ball, and as the ball got collected, his foot rolled onto his ankle, onto that ankle bone area, and a lot of people said, well, there's pretty much the same thing. It's like, well, not really, because he had the ball under his control, then he got swept away, but still potentially it could have been a yellow card. Anyways, it is what it is. You can't make anybody happy, or everybody, I should say. It's just a shit go, but by the letter of the law, he kicked the ball out. Don't kick the ball. Now, finally, probably why you're here for this video, Mark Clattenburg, former top Premier League referee. Mark Clattenburg refereed many a finals, refereed many a games in the Premier League, also in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, the Euros perhaps, maybe. He was pretty much the top referee in England for a while, at least after Howard Webb left. Definitely, you'd probably say he was. Now you're looking at, what's his name? Bloody hell. Stuck in my head. He's going to referee the game between Arsenal and City this weekend. Michael Oliver. They got Michael Oliver, technically the top ref in the Premier League, if you will. At least I don't think he is, but I see him in that position in any case. But Liverpool won. My boys, Liverpool. You'll see on the wall there. This is Anfield. There you go, right there. 3-1 away at the San Siro. It's not a great AC Milan team, but it's still an AC Milan team. And like people say, you got to beat what's in front of you. 3-1 win after going behind in the 3rd minute from a Christian Pulisic shot. So not bad. I'll take that. But not talking about the game itself. Saying fans stunned by what Mark Clattenburg said during AC Milan versus Liverpool. Well, what did he say? Well, let's scroll down here. Miss all the things about the actual game itself. But it says here, in the second half, while speaking about a couple of decisions made by the referee Espen Escas, commentator Alan Shearer said he certainly hasn't been influenced by this crowd and don't half make some noise at every decision they want. He hasn't been influenced at all. I think he's just evening it up. There isn't him. If he didn't give the first one, then he's not giving that one. To which Clattenburg responded, I think the first one is definitely a free kick. And then he says, I just think he needs to calm the crowd down. The crowd are against him. They have been putting pressure on him. We saw with that penalty shout before that, he added, I think the ref just needs to give 1 or 2 small fouls to get the judgment back. And therein is the issue. Give 1 or 2 small fouls to get the judgment back. So not that they are fouls, not that they're justified, not that they're warranted, but because the home fans are on the referee's back for not giving them any decisions that probably should not be given to them. Give them those decisions so they can calm down and relax a little bit. That is the mad thing. That is the absolute mad thing. Now, if you want to look here, this was probably the most viewed tweet at the moment from this Barry account. Backseatsman LFC says Mark Clattenburg just said the ref should give a couple of small fouls in Milan's favour to calm the crowd down. He was a Premier League ref for 13 years. Now, why this is a little bit contentious or a little bit controversial now is because if this is Mark Clattenburg's thinking, What's there to say he has not been thinking this for the last 13 years? He was a Premier League referee or refereeing in any international tournaments or continental ones in world football. What's there to say that he hasn't been giving fouls that are not fouls or penalties that are not penalties to the home team because of the amount of noise being heaped against him? What happened to being objective? What happened to not being influenced by the crowd? We always talk about referees when they're in hostile environments, or when it's United versus City, or like on the weekend Spurs versus Arsenal. The referee is not influenced by the home crowd. Case in point, in the morning there were a couple of tackles, one on the AC Milan attack end and then one on the Liverpool attack end, and the referee didn't give one, so why would he give the other? And they eventually gave a foul for something else shortly after that. But that's what spun this controversy, if you will. So just reading some of these comments: subsequently doubled and tripled down when given the opportunity. Get him on every match day. The more he speaks, the more we find out, the more we know a little bit more information about him and how maybe referees act. Says they actually do this every time in the Premier League, give fouls or penalties as the home crowd are screaming, which is what I just said. It's a shit go. Couldn't believe when I heard it. They control the game. What a noob. Everyone, I can't find the clip. I tried to find it anywhere. It says the crowd are against him. Of course they are. The crowd would be if their team aren't winning, as any Premier as is it any wonder Premier League refs shit. And you just go back to the whole Anthony Taylor thing. Referees in England are very much under the pump, under the scrutiny because of decisions that they make. It's crazy. Now we have Mark Clattenburg, retired now, former referee, telling us the referee should give soft fouls to the home opposition to calm them down. What's there again to say that referees in England, or especially in England here, because he's an English referee, we see this a lot in the English Premier League. Referees will give decisions to the home team because they're complaining or they're arguing or the crowd are booing and whatever. And the referee doesn't want to be the main man in all of this. Now, some can argue that maybe Kavanagh wanted to be the main man in the Arsenal versus Brighton game. Well, you can argue that all you want. The decision has been made and final. But as it says here, refs think that their job to manage the game, they should be there to uphold the laws of the game, not to direct how it looks on the telly. And of course, we've also heard things where we've had referees, I forget who it was, who refereed the Man City Arsenal game, or the Arsenal Man City game, whoever was at home at the time, saying when Kovacic arguably should have had a yellow card, maybe 2 yellow cards, or even a straight red card. He didn't want to influence the outcome of the game or anything like that. It's like, brother, you're not there to influence jack shit. You're there to referee as is. Same with the Declan Rice decision. He refereed what he saw. Decisions could go your way, could go against your way. It doesn't matter. The fact that Clattenburg is saying these things should actually give some alarm bells to a lot of fans out there, and think every time a referee is going to call a big game and you're the home team and you're not getting anything, you're going to wonder to yourself, is he going to give us a couple of soft fouls to have us calm down? Or are they giving us all the soft fouls and all the easy decisions because they don't want to be under the spotlight after the fact of whatever happens? It's a bit mad. There's a discussion to be had here. You let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I know a lot of people are talking about this already, more so about the Declan Rice situation, but I thought very interesting to point that a former referee of high repute, at least I thought, would actually say the ref has to give a couple of small fouls to the home team to bring them back on his side. Don't worry about managing. Don't worry about refereeing the game objectively, upholding the laws of the game, as someone said in that Twitter reply. But just call the fouls so everyone is back calm with you. Screw being objective with what's happening on the pitch. Absolute madness. Anyways, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch you on the next one.